You ready? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chuck and Z show. Man, I'm super excited about today's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got a guy that's I've actually really like. I've been wanting to talk to this guy for a while. His name is BaddWolf. He's a very well-known recording artist. As a matter of fact, we first found out about him by listening to one of our favorite artists, Yellowstone. We heard him on one of his songs in the Casey's.
Yeah.
That's all right. And so basically, I heard that song, went and checked out his other songs, found out a lot about the guy. So I prepared a little intro.
Yeah.
A little tiny intro I was going to do for the night. Can I do that?
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
BaddWolf is a recording artist with a unique sound and style, influenced by the blues, dark country, which I'm going to ask him about the specific difference between country and dark country, trap, rap, and soul. The music is eclectic, hard, and creative. Z and I have more than one of his songs on our writing playlist. As a matter of fact, recently he had the opportunity to be featured on that TV show Yellowstone, which I'll ask him about how that came about. Although you and I have tried to get into Yellowstone, we haven't been able to get into it yet.
Yeah.
We're trying. I'm going to ask him about how that came about. And so, we met him last year. We met him at Sturgis. It's been fun getting to know him. He's a good dude, and to top it off, he not only rides Harleys, he writes music about Harleys. So we're going to talk about that a little bit as well.
Yep.
So without further ado, I'm going to bring Mr. BaddWolf. I think should I go Mr. Wolf? Is that what the Wolf?
I like
a
Mr.
Pulp Fiction
Wolf,
reference.
man. Mr. Wolf,
All right, bringing you in, my man.
I feel very professional on Mr. Wolf.
There you go.
Well, welcome to the Chuck and Z show, Mr. Wolf. How are you doing, man?
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, we were super excited that you were available to come on and do the show with us. Again, as I said in the intro, I'm not sure if you could hear it, but we definitely listen to a lot of your music. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for sure for that.
Yeah, no
You know?
problem. So
Definitely.
we met you last year at Sturgis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last year at Sturgis. Hey, it's crazy how time flies. That was already a year ago.
I know.
That's
And it seemed like it was yesterday.
It does. We actually I think we saw you backstage on the Yellowwolf at the Yellowwolf concert. We're like, oh shit, BaddWolf's here too.
Yeah.
And then we happened to run into you the next day. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's my boy, man. I met Yellowwolf, like, it's crazy, right? I met Yellowwolf as soon as I moved on Melrose, and Yellowwolf was doing his thing, walking down Melrose, and he walks up to me, and dude was so genuine. He doesn't even introduce himself as Yellowwolf, you know what I mean?
Okay.
He comes up to me, like, runs across the street, it's like, yo, just on some, like, natural stuff, it's like, I'm Michael Wayne after, and I'm like, nah, I know who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? Like, I know who you
Michael
are.
Wayne.
and we was both at a vintage shop, and we were vibing and stuff like that. We were vibing. He's like, dude, let me get your number. So this whole time, he's like talking to me. I'm like starstruck and like, yo, dude, this is Yellowwolf. He's like, yeah, let me get your number. I'm like, what? In my head, but I'm playing along or whatever. And I'm shaking. Like, my hand is shaking. I don't think he can see it.
Yeah.
My hand's shaking. I'm like, yeah, what's your number? Boom, give me his number. He's like, yo, hit me up. Right? So I think I still have that photo on my Instagram. It's probably one of the first photos on my Instagram. If you was ever to make it down, like all the photos.
Uh-huh.
And I take this photo with them, right? And my homie's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you take this photo? And I'm sitting there, and then, that's how it naturally happened. So he asked me to, like, do a couple of music videos. I get cut out, but I don't care. I was actually there for more of the experience and, like, hanging out and seeing, like, a legend of himself do what he do like naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was super cool, man. It was crazy because he reached out and he was more genuine than any person I've ever known. And for someone to sit there and be like, "Hey, I'm Michael Wayne,
Right.
not I'm Yellow Wolf," go by that is I thought it was like, putting their stuff like self in a genuine position more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's funny that you say real names because, like, we were like, what is BaddWolf's real name? And, like, we tried to Google it and, like, we couldn't find anything on you.
I don't pop up.
You
It
don't.
don't
Not your
pop
real
up.
name. All your
I'm
artists
against
stuff.
Google. I'm against Google because it's weird. Like, there's so much stuff that I've done that I'm like in, and for some reason doesn't like make the connection. You know what I mean? My first name is Antoine. That's my name.
Okay.
My name is Antoine Thompson, and I added Wolf to my last name. So that's how I did the whole BaddWolf thing.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to create my own legacy, so I added Wolf to like the last of my name.
That's right. Because that's that's something that you identify with, right?
Yes.
Like when I was
definitely.
doing my research on you,
Yeah.
because of your heritage, because of your background.
Yep. Choctaw native, and that's what I rep fully. Yeah. I rep, black, Choctaw, Southern thing, and like I think people need to, they need to know like a little bit of the history.
Absolutely.
There's more than, Navajo and Apache and stuff that people know, or people like always say, oh, I'm 116 Cherokee, and it's like, all right, good.
Right.
What's
There
that
are
politician's
Cherokees
name?
out there, but like I doubt that you are 116 Cherokee.
Yeah. What's funny is, okay, so I'm mixed, and my mom is from Houston, Texas. She's born and raised there. And then my dad,
H-Town.
yeah, and my dad is from El Salvador, Central America.
Wow.
And I was born in California, so we have that in common. I was born in Gardena.
Oh, what? You born in Gardena? Oh,
Yeah.
that's the hood.
Yeah. And you know
Okay,
what
that's
else?
like my mom still lives in Inglewood. It's like right down the
Oh,
street,
wow.
not far at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then the other like similarity is I actually grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah.
What?
Yeah,
That's so random.
I know.
That's super random.
It is random. My dad still lives there.
So, so Chuck, what about you though?
Okay.
I'm not. I'm not interesting at all when it comes to that.
That is a complete lie. I've seen your
I,
Instagram, man. I've done some digging.
I was
Tell
born and
me.
raised outside of Columbia, South Carolina, in a small town called Swansea. So
Okay.
that's where I grew up. Stayed there most of my life. I barely traveled up until the time I was in my early 30s. I had been up to New York once, maybe a couple of places, but as far as like getting out and about, I didn't do much. But boy, have I been packing it in the last
Yeah.
17 years.
Hey, I
I've
tell
been
people
going.
this. Hey, 30s is a new 20s.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so
That's when
true.
you learn more, but you got a little bit more money to experience life.
Yes.
Well, good. That means that because I'm 47, so I'm 37. I'll say that. Because if 30s
Yo.
are the new 20s, then the 40s are the new 30s. So I'm gonna start saying I'm 37 from now on,
Hey, you
and I'm gonna
should
tell
say
them. Bad
you
Wolf
can
said,
pass. You can pass for 37, dog.
"Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
For sure.
I'm
You can
trying
pass for
not to old.
37 for sure, bro.
I'm trying not to
I
age
give you
gracefully."
that.
Hey, you got a drink on you?
Huh?
You got a drink on you? Ah,
Hey, half the bottle's gone, so you know what my life is about.
what is that?
Hey, so this is Omano Tequila. It's a reposado, product of Mexico. 100% agave.
Nice.
So what's crazy is I started drinking, right? I mean, obviously since I was 21, but um, I started going tequila because I mean, pick your poison, but tequila is the healthiest drink that
Right.
you should drink.
Yeah.
Less sugar for me, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
agave, I like tequila.
The
So I've been
natural.
going tequila lately. I used to do a lot of whiskey though.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
my whiskey.
Well, I'm gonna do a toast. Cheers to you, man. I don't know if you want to take a swig from the bottle, but cheers.
I'm gonna take a swig from the bottom because I'm BaddWolf.
Yeah,
Hey.
man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you guys. Thank you guys for having me on the show, by the way,
Yeah,
too.
no, man. We're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So So we know a little bit about tequila too. I don't know if
Yeah.
we want to rehash our 45-minute 13 shot tequila
Yeah.
tasting that we did.
We went to Cabo a couple of years ago, and birthdays, and we went and did a wine tasting. So.
Tequila tasting.
Or sorry,
Yeah.
tequila tasting.
Yo, hey, I heard of wine tasting, but never tequila tasting.
Oh, it was phenomenal. This dude set up all these bottles of tequila, and then he put the shots out in front of him. And as he would go through them, he started with the cheap stuff, and like told us how
The
bad
cheap is the harshest.
it tasted good. But that's where he started. So he started there, and then he kept going and kept going and kept going until we got to like the super exclusive stuff that he kind of kept on the top shelf,
So
or whatever.
the
Like, and
tequila with the snakes in it and a bunch of
yeah, all
worms
that
and
stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
And then but by the time you get there, he's not giving us shots anymore.
No.
No, he's giving us a
Flutes.
flute. It's like a flute of tequila. So we're tore up, and he's like, "Do you want to? So what do you guys think? You want to buy something?" I'm like, "Yes, all of it. Give me as much of this as I can." I was so tore up, man. I think I bought 2 bottles of like the expensive stuff.
No.
He got me, but man, he worked for it. He put 45 minutes in.
job.
I drink a lot of tequila.
Hey, 45 minutes worth of tequila that's suicide. That's a suicide mission, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Say, I was kind of walking sideways back to the resort.
But if you're in
Tequila would get
Cabo,
anyone sideways, dude. Tequila would get anyone sideways. But you know what? I don't wake up with too much of a hangover drinking tequila compared to what I used to drink tons of whiskey.
True. You're absolutely true. And it's the sugar in it, though,
It's the sugar that does that, and it makes you're drinking and you're peeing or whatever,
Yes.
and all that waste and all that stuff. So your body's so dehydrated, especially with the sugar. So it tricks you even more. You know what I mean? With the agave, it doesn't do it as much.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Yeah.
So, when we first started, you were talking about moving to Utah and all of that. So you're living full time in Salt Lake, or is it a different city?
I'm full time Salt Lake City.
Okay. What part of Salt Lake?
I'm right in between. It's like Mill Creek Sugar House.
Okay, yeah.
I'm still learning my areas. So it's weird out here because of these streets. They go by numbers.
Yeah.
Right. They're like grid. and from exactly. It's the grid, and I started to like people kept telling me the grid. It's like the main temple in the middle of it. So the closer you get to the temple, the numbers get lowered. Right. Being from LA. There's names. You got a rodeo and a rodeo. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm going to go down to Bray. I'm going to make a right on Washington, cut up, go down Crenshaw.
You sound
and some people talking about like 3,900 and 45 this. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
Yeah. 3,900 west, 4,500 south. You're like, what?
It sounds like LA freeways. That's how our freeways sound. You're going to take the 405 to the 110.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's
talking like
and you being from both, you get it.
I get
and I'm
it.
like still learning. Yeah.
I get it.
I'm still going on. My boy over there blazing. I love it. Make yourself at home, player.
Hey man. Hey man.
So try coming to Atlanta where everything is Peachtree.
I've been to Atlanta once.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in high school, my mom was really big on she wanted me to go to a HBCU.
Yes.
So I went on a college tour, and Atlanta was one of the stops. It was like Morehouse, you had like Clark and stuff like that. And what's crazy was this. Now we're talking about music because I was always hipped. I loved Southern music. It was different from the West Coast, East Coast at this time.
True.
So when I go down there, and I'm like on Peachtree, and I was right at whatever mall is the Underground. What's the Underground Mall?
It's the Underground Mall.
That's the Underground. Okay,
Underground Atlanta.
Underground
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Next door, we go upstairs. It was a hair wig spot,
mm-hmm.
and they sold grills right next door. And I'm from LA, and I'm like, ain't no way, man. Somebody's buying some wigs, and they're making grills in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so I got played right. all my money that I had that's supposed to go on tour, I put on these grills.
No.
And they never sent me my grill back.
Yo.
I went and got fitted for my teeth. I was trying to go back to LA with silver teeth and shit. I got robbed, bro. As
Yeah,
a
I don't know
kid,
if
you
that's
know?
the right spot. You know, you need to go closer to like Buckhead or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe Decatur.
Yeah, that's true. But, like, you know, I'm from LA. So
True.
you're like, oh, what? Like, they're selling wigs and they got grills in one spot, like in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, this seems legit.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
they took all
Atlanta
my
is
money.
there's industrious people in Atlanta. You
Yep.
know, they're gonna figure out a way to make a dollar, and
That is
I,
true.
I ain't mad at them for it. You know.
Hey, can't be.
Yeah.
That was some high school stuff, you know. I learned my lesson. I don't live there, so I couldn't pull up. I had my cousin. My cousin lived in Atlanta, so I called. I was like, "Hey, you know, cousin, I went down to Peachtree, and I got some grills made for my teeth. I think they never sent me my grill. I'm like waiting in the mail for it. She go down, they act like they didn't even know who I was. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
How rude.
Well, you know, you mentioned music, and obviously, I don't want to get too out of my depth talking music with you because I mean, you're a professional recording artist, right? So I want to make sure that I, know my lane.
Thank
But
you.
so it's interesting because when I was looking up some information to include in the little write up at the beginning, it mentioned dark country specifically. And
Yes.
I grew up obviously where I grew up on country. I didn't really appreciate it as much when I was a kid. Like I was trying to listen to what was current. My parents were trying to make me listen to Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and all that. And at the time, I just the music didn't speak to me because I didn't understand it at that age. But the older
Right.
I got, the more outlaw country started speaking to me. Current
Yeah.
country, and right around the time that they started doing that shit. He thinks my tractor's sexy kind of crap. When that stuff
Yeah.
started, when that stuff started coming
Yeah.
out, I was like, that's just not my jam. That's not my. That's that. I don't
Yeah.
feel that at all. But definitely old school Merle, Johnny Cash, um,
Yes. That's the outlaw. That's the
Waylon.
super outlaw country.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the super outlaw country
So
that I
what's
like.
dark
But
country?
like so dark country is a term like I don't want to say I came up with the term, right?
Hmm.
But dark country, cause just like there's rap music and there's trap music and there's emo trap, right? It's completely different. And when I came up with dark country, it's more bringing the blues into country music because blues have a whole certain sound. You know what I mean? It's everything, the rhythm, the tempo of blues, completely different from country. So what I thought about if I mix blues with a certain country and I have the way that I'm rapping, which is like kind of like I think what I've heard before is a mix of Johnny Cash, Easy E, complete. You know what I mean? It has a certain rhythm to it. You know, that's what blues is. And I heard like listening to Howlin' Wolf and Manish Man and stuff like that, like the stuff that he's talking about. I am a backdoor man, which is crazy. You're like, what the fuck is a backdoor man? And you start doing research. He's talking about the same stuff that rappers are talking about right now, being a backdoor man. So when your husband is going out to work, I'm creeping in through the back door. And
Okay.
what little boys don't know, little girls know. Which meaning because women are supposed to be in the kitchen. So they know when this man is creeping through the back door and your mom is upstairs having sex with this guy.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting thing, right? That people they don't listen to. They don't want to give it a chance. They're like, oh, I don't listen to country. And you're like, why not? Or I don't listen to blues. Well, why not? I only listen to rap. And I'm like, you kind of do fail to realize that it's the same thing, right? For another example, I got a barbecue stain on my white t-shirt. She was killing me with the mini skirt, right? Dope
Yeah.
song. And then you get the franchise boys. Yup, in my white tee. Yup, in my white tee. It's the same shit. It's just somebody put a fucking banjo, guitar on it, whatever. They're literally talking about the same thing. So I honestly, personally get pissed when somebody's like, "Oh, I like rap music, but I hate country," or "I listen to country, but I don't listen to rap." Why? Because you're not giving it a chance. You're not listening to the lyrics, stuff that they talk about. Country music is talking about the exact same thing rap is talking about, and people
Yeah.
fail to realize.
Exactly.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I completely agree. I
You
grew up
know,
in a musical family as well, and my dad plays the guitar, and so I grew up singing like Hispanic country music, well, Mexican country music, rancheras,
which is fucking beautiful.
right?
Yeah, it's
So
it's amazing.
yeah, and I was exposed to a lot. Like my mom, she was born in the 40s. She grew up in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. So she was exposed to all sorts of music, and she was there at the inception of like rock and roll, you know, when that came out, all that kind of stuff. So she taught us to like learn and love music, and it's just I don't really like you, I don't shun music. I take it in. There's some that it's not going to vibe with me per se, but it's not that I say I just don't listen to that at all. I'll give anything a try.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I give stuff a shot. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And Chuck, like you being from South Carolina, I know you got some blues country in you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you go down to the coast and you got shag music, right? You got all of that coastal music, the Golden Tambourines and some local regional bands that play that kind. Absolutely, man. I mean, BB King and Dizzy Gillespie and all those guys. I grew up listening to that stuff. I know that they're a little bit different than what your traditional. I guess BB King would be, but Dizzy was more of a jazz player.
Hmm.
Or yeah,
I,
but
I,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I listened to all that growing up. And the thing is, if you were to go pull up any one of my playlists, especially like my writing playlist, you're going to see some mainstream stuff on there. You're going to see Metallica. You're going to see Sturgill Simpson. You're going to see what's that? FYE. I mean, you're going to see
yeah.
pretty much anything you can name. I ain't gonna lie. I even have, mostly because of Weird Al Yankovic, I even had like one or two polka songs on my damn phone.
I
Just to be
love Weird
honest
Al
with you.
Yankovic, bro. I yo, I remember there's like a special on Weird Al Yankovic, and he did the "My Mind is Ceramic" and got maybe Vader something. I love music, bro. So I was into it all. Can you imagine like my mom coming home and I'm fucking blasting some Limp Bizkit and shit, or like even Korma, like what the hell you listening to? Yo, my mom straight was like, she was concerned. She's like, so are you worshiping the devil?
Yeah, isn't
I
that what
was
they used
like,
to say
no. Like,
back
what
then
you
though?
talking about? Worshiping the devil. Like, I just like rock music. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that
there was
shit
a lot
is
of
just crazy.
there's a lot of propaganda, you know, that was around rock music because they thought that it was making kids do crazy stuff. um, because
Yeah,
it just moved you in a way that you never felt before, right? Music does that.
agreed.
It'll like hit that nerve, and you just get lost in it. There are many times when I'm listening to a song. I love music that tells stories. So if I'm listening
Yeah,
to a song that actually like tells a story and it like hits a nerve, like I'll cry. I'll start crying.
yeah. I've had like one or two, situations. I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, that shit was beautiful.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're like, damn, like I actually feel this in art. I remember like when I really got into it, I would have one song on repeat.
Mhm.
Like, right when like LimeWire, I don't even try to, LimeWire and stuff came out when you had your favorite song, you're able to
Yes.
take one song,
Right.
all your favorite songs and put them on the list. But before that, I would have like one song on repeat, one song on repeat. And I would like straight up practice that one song and like pay attention to the lyrics and get it, and then we'll sit there and be like, damn, that's crazy. This person went in the studio,
Mhm.
wrote this song, and it has so much emotions in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
You're like taken by it, and you're like, holy shit, like I can relate so much to this song.
Yes.
I can imagine for you too, that's saying something because you know the process. You know the process of recording a song. So it's not always just like I imagine with whenever I used to do indie films. So I did a little bit of film work in my life, and it's not glamorous. It's
No,
long, tedious, hurry up and wait. Then you gotta, I imagine you gotta jump in there and record, and you gotta record it again, and you gotta record it again. You got to get the best take and all that. And so to be able to maintain that emotion throughout all of that, I imagine that's pretty hard to do.
yeah, it can be. Like some people have different ways of doing it. I mean, nowadays, man, you have like 8 people writing a fucking song. and that one person might not even have emotions to it. You got 8 different people with one emotion, but
Mhm.
there's like a lot of independent artists who write these songs that have emotions. For me, instantly, like I would have an idea. I'm like, let me go to the studio. I record this song, right? Sometimes I'm like, I actually not feeling this. I'm like sitting on so many songs that I'm like not feeling, right?
Yeah.
Then I would sit there. I mean, life happens, whatever. You go back, let me re-record this song. I think I can make this song sound better. You can listen to your songs over and over and over again, and you can figure out like what sounds better, what note hits better, or what lyric hits better. And like an issue for me is I actually add too much to my song, and I need to take back from what I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I've like heard people, he didn't put no thought into it, blah blah blah. And I actually dumb a lot of stuff down because I think it might be a little too deep for people at me like up and coming artists. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not right now. I can say that for later, but let me give you this much. Like inching them until like more like emotional stuff and stuff that I'm more emotional stuff than I'm doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I see that with a lot of artists these days too, because especially with it being more of a independent type of scenario these days. Not, I mean, you have record labels, right? But there's just so much with social media that you can do. Um, I see a lot of artists actually taking the risk as opposed to doing like a mainstream type of a song, um, which is great. Like, I'll say, for instance, Sturgill Simpson. Do you know who that
Yeah,
is? Okay. So he's a way off the cuff, country music. He takes it back to, outlaw country. But then he also has some songs in there that tell stories. Like he'll talk about his life in the military, and like he'll write a story to his son, his unborn child, and it's just
yeah.
something
Those
that's
systems
so,
are deep.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just so different than like other country songs that I hear out today. Which it's all great. I mean, everything has its time, but I think that I love the fact that there's so many different options
Yeah.
that you can choose from, and anybody can find their artist if they
You know who's bringing it? Who's bringing it back to me
who's
is
that?
Wallen Morgan,
Right?
and
Yeah, Wallen Morgan. Yeah.
and because like the stuff that he talks about are in like even like the Broadway girl song. You know what I mean? Like I've been to Nashville. Have you guys been to Nashville
Yeah.
before?
We met in Nashville.
It's exactly right. And it's a rare situation.
Yes.
Like Chuck, you got what I'm saying. You got
Yeah,
you.
I know. I'll
But
kick my cover.
there's also you got them hood rats out there in Nashville, bro. And so like when he came out and he put that song out, you're like, yo,
Yeah.
he done been through some shit, and he put a rapper on there, and it worked out perfectly because you could tell that was something that was real,
What do they
right?
call?
Which is like country music is supposed to be that. And the reason why I love Johnny Cash so much, so everyone would say like, I Walked the Line or Man on Fire, blah blah blah. But Johnny Cash is their favorite song. My favorite song from Johnny Cash is Out Amongst the Stars,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of people haven't even heard that song.
Mm-hmm.
And that song, he's literally talking about this boy had enough. He ain't got a job, but he got a gun, walks in the store, and he robs a bank. The most gangsterous stuff that you can ever hear. And
Yeah.
he's talking about like all this stuff is happening on the news and he's getting murdered on the news. And it's like, that's what rap is right now. Johnny Cash was outlaw country and straight up rap music before his time. They didn't even consider Johnny Cash country.
Right.
He didn't have the twang.
It's true.
I mean,
You know what I mean? He didn't have the twang. Like the way he was doing country music was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know?
mean, a boy named Sue is somewhat of a rap song. I mean, when you
It's
listen to that
exactly a
song,
rap song.
yeah, it's almost
Speaking of
spoken word. Yeah,
Z, probably know this. There's a bar named Sue
Yeah.
after Johnny Cash.
I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Can you tell?
Yes,
Oh, we got to go.
there's a few bars out here in Salt Lake City called a bar named Sue instead of a boy named Sue, and it's
Mm-hmm.
after Johnny
Oh,
Cash.
Yeah.
we got to go next time we're there
Yeah.
for
Next
sure.
time you visit.
Let me know. I'll roll with you guys.
Yeah,
Hell
man.
yeah.
Well, I can't let you. I gotta ask you some questions about motorcycles, right? Because clearly
Yes.
you ride a Harley. You've written what 4 songs now about Harleys? Harley 1, 2, 3, and 4. I actually
Yes.
clipped a little bit of Harley 4 today, putting a story up. Man, talk about motorcycles. What do you ride? First of all, what do you ride?
So I had a Street Glide. That shit got stolen. L.A. Um. Then I have a 2008 Harley Davidson Dyna Street Bob that recently just did the motor. I had a 110. Now I'm at a Hot 106
Nice,
with the 585 cam,
nice.
all that stuff. It's tuned. I think I did a Thundermax tune on there, and right now it's running perfectly. I'm
Yeah,
loving it. It's running perfectly right now. That's what I ride. That's my daily. I got a truck now too because I'm in Salt Lake City. But when I was in LA, only Harley. I only had a motorcycle. I didn't even own a 4-wheel
Wow.
vehicle.
Yeah.
yeah. I
I guess
like
you
your
don't
truck.
have to. It's like the weather's perfect always in Southern California.
You don't need, yeah, you don't need a car or anything. It's actually worse to even have one. You're better off having two motorcycles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how'd you get into riding, man?
Which is funny. My best friend growing up back in the days, elementary, he ended up moving to Simi Valley in California, right? So his stepfather rode dirt bikes.
Okay.
He had like a couple of dirt bikes, stuff like that. And so he put him in riding. And so like my mom she would not let me hop on a bike at this time, like at no kid. She's like, no, you can hop on a bike. But when she used to drop me off over there, all the way in Simi Valley from LA, which is like about 45 minutes to an hour. That's when I used to sneak over there and ride. He taught me how to ride.
Yeah.
And so, I was in, which is crazy because Twitch is one of my best homies. Mark, Rusty Butcher, all these dudes. But
Nice.
Twitch was like ahead of his game. Metal Militia, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I used to watch their thing. We used to sit there and watch their DVDs or like, their tapes and stuff at this time. YouTube when it first came out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I started getting to ride. So I was secretly riding dirt bikes this whole time, going over there. Mom, I want to go stay at my best friend's house for the weekend. And that's how I got into it.
Wow.
That's the beginning. And this is when I was like 9 years old at this time.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
secretly was riding motorcycles. Yeah.
I would have
As
died.
I'm getting older, whatever, I'm like, was into choppers. I was like, dude, I want to ride a chopper. I want to ride a chopper. And I didn't tell my mom. Finally, I got my first job, right? Got my first job. I'm making some money. I was like, Mom, I want a motorcycle. Nope, you can't have one. I'm living under a roof. I'm like, you know what? I was like, I love you with all my heart,
Yeah.
and I'll listen to everything you say, but I'm going to get a motorcycle. I guess that, like, when I said that, she's like, all right, fuck it, whatever. So she starts sending me, like, pictures of, like, Gixxers and, these Yamaha and Kawasaki's. I'm like, nah, that's not what I want. She's like, God damn it, what the hell do you want? I was like, I want a chopper. She's like, a chopper? What the fuck is a chopper, right? So I like show her a picture, and like to someone who's not into motorcycle, choppers are like ran down parts and shit. She's like, what the hell is
Yep.
that? That's just gonna fall apart on you, right? I'm like, you don't get it. It's like something that you built. You build sentimental value. That's something that you built. Like you could like look at him like, I built that, right?
Yeah.
I ended up meeting a friend, and he was gonna help me. So what I started doing was I started ordering parts, and I didn't even know what the fuck I was ordering. Right? I'm just like, yo, I think I went on Craigslist, and it wasn't even a Harley. It was a fucking Yamaha XS 650, and it was two motors going for $500. I'm like, damn, two motors for $500? Fuck it, I'll buy it.
Right.
So I bought two motors, and then found a frame, and then so I built everything around the frame. But all these boxes were getting sent to my mom's house.
Uh,
My mom thought I was just selling drugs, you know what I mean? And I had like stacks, like it was straight up from the floor to the ceiling. Boxes of fucking motorcycle parts. There were parts that I ordered that I didn't even need on the bike because I didn't even know what the fuck I was ordering. I'm just going down the
Yeah.
list like, all right, now I know I need a throttle cable, need a brake, need a shit, you know what I'm saying? But I'm ordering shit like some shit from like XX6. That's when I started learning like the metric. I'm like, oh shit, Yamaha's like they go like metric, and then Harley is like something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like mixing parts on my bike, but after that, then I ended up selling that bike and then got like a Harley and started riding like like with the rigid frame and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and went from there. And then Dynas and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
that's kind of how I got into riding motorcycles.
That's
that's
awesome.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to ask, I
What
mean,
about you guys though?
yeah, well,
Because
so go ahead. Sorry.
now I was gonna say because I always find it dope when it's like you and your woman can go riding and like both you guys are into the same passion. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the dopest thing because you can literally just like, you know what? After this podcast, man, let's take this shot. Let's go to a bar right now. Let's go
yeah,
riding. Let's get some hot wings, watch a game, and do our thing. It's like
Yeah.
so. I want to know where the passion came from you guys as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, we have a lot of interests in common. And even the things that either I'm not well versed in or vice versa, we try to educate ourselves and kind of get into that so that we can experience um, whatever those interests are together. And I think that that's kind of what's helped us just throughout the years, kept it interesting, kept it fresh, kept it exciting, and it still feels like it was yesterday, when we first met. So that's really awesome. But he actually introduced me to writing 7 years ago. And
Really?
yeah, yeah,
I got her. Got her on one.
yeah. So I always tell people, like, I never ever thought about riding a motorcycle. Like, I like to go fast. I like cars. So when I grew up, I was like super into import cars and just anything that's fast. So, but motorcycles were not even a question. But he got his dream motorcycle when he turned 40, and it was a Harley 3 Rod Muscle, and he brought it home, and I was like, yeah, good for you. Like, I'll never get on it. I didn't think I was.
That was it. You can't get her off.
I didn't think exactly. That was it. Like, I bought I bought a helmet. I got on the back a couple of times, and then I was like, you know what? I need my own.
Bro, ain't it like food?
It is.
It's like, yo, I'm gonna get my food. I'm gonna get a plate. You want some? Nah, I'm cool. When you bring that plate back, they'll be like, hey, can I get some? You're
That's
like,
right.
wait, this is my...
I thought you said you didn't want anything.
yeah, but eating your food, you know what I mean? I get it though. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been riding for a long time. Much like you, I started riding when I was young, riding dirt bikes, and then eventually went into riding sport bikes. I had a Ducati for a while, and then when my first daughter was born, I quit riding for a little while, and then picked it back up in 2016. That's whenever she started.
Whoa.
So, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
most of my life with a little bit of a break in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Let me ask you this. It's for me, writing means certain things, right? But I've noticed that pretty obviously, like most things, mean something different to most people, right? What what does writing mean to you? Like when you get up and you're like, I gotta get on that bike and go. What is that? What's driving you to do that?
Man, you know what? There's a couple of things, man. I want you to judge me on this. So at one point, I used to be in a car club and I lost my license, right?
Okay,
And I like lost my license. I'm like, damn, I still want to like get to work, whatever the situation is. This is when license was a thing and not dirt bike and stuff like that.
right.
I'm like, you know what? Me getting on a motorcycle, I don't think cops really fuck with bikers like that. In LA, this is Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, maybe I should like hop in that, like maybe I should do the motorcycle thing because one, I could lane split. Cops, won't really chase me on a bike and
Mm-hmm.
this and that. That was one thing. And another thing was this, the freedom. The freedom. And I remember asking one of my friends that was riding, I was like, yo, bro, how much is to fill your tank? Like, it's like $6, $7. What? $6-7 to fill up your tank? You imagine putting $6-7 to fill up your tank and going anywhere you want to in Los Angeles. If I want to go to the Griffith Observatory, if I want to go to Santa Monica Pier,
Yeah.
Venice, right up PCH, right?
Right.
And then after, because I mean, I love tacos, go and get you 3, 4 tacos for $4.
Yeah.
Bro, you probably spend $20 on the most beautiful day you can ever have in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me that's all it takes to be happy? Is for $20, man? Let me fill up my tank $8 and get a couple of tacos and have a couple of bucks going back home on a motorcycle. You know what I mean? It's like that's kind of what was like one of my happiness and like really getting started and like enjoying and then meeting other people who had the same thing that was going on. It's just like getting together, riding. Hey man, what are you doing a Saturday? Let's go get a cup of coffee. Dude, all right, down. Like you can wake up early in the morning, no cars out, especially in LA. You hate traffic. You want to wake up 7 o'clock on the weekend, get with a couple of your buddies, go get some coffee. I used to love hitting Sunset, going up in Echo Park, and there's a couple of coffee spots there. Meeting up, you set up with your boys, you go ride and you go through the canyons or whatever it is, and you come back and that's like your whole day. And you only thing you did was spend money on gas, bro.
I know. Yeah. It's amazing.
It was like the perfect getaway, happiness for like a little bit of nothing, and then you learn stuff because your bike's gonna break down. You're gonna stop, whatever the situation is. So now you're building these bond with these people. Now you find out who your real friends are because the ones who's on the side of the road helping you fix your bike, they didn't leave you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's more of the love like that I got for it and like became like, like this is what I want to do instead of like spending my money on other things or like things that do not matter in life whatsoever. It's more about like life experience for me, and who I'm meeting and like who's into the same things that I am and like building like these friendships with people and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's definitely a great community in and around motorcycles for sure.
Oh, it's like no other.
Yeah. It's interesting. You asked about us riding a little bit too, and
Uh-huh.
obviously riding with her she's my best friend, by far. I mean, getting a chance to ride with her is always a great time. Matter of fact, I may have said this on the podcast before, and I apologize if I've said it once before. But I was talking to this guy at bike, and he goes, "Man, I'd hate it if my wife rode." And I was like, "Why?"
Like what?
I was
Are
like,
you
"Why?"
crazy?
And
Like
he goes, "Well, I'd never get away from her." And I was like,
Why?
"Dude, that's so sad." I literally thought to myself, "That's so sad." What?
you're married to the wrong person.
You're married to the wrong person, 100%.
Straight
But
up.
I love the fact that she and I get to ride together, and it's a thing that we do together. But it's a very unique experience in that, yeah, we're riding together, but we're also doing our own thing at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yup.
Like I'm on my bike by myself, controlling it, riding it, listening to my own music, whatever. But she's just hey babe, what in the headset. She's like just that far away. I can see her. We're definitely together, but we're also doing our own thing. So I think a lot of people think that whenever you're in a relationship like ours, where I mean, again, I think we're 100% best friends. I mean, we do everything together. I think a lot of people see
Yeah.
that and they're like, man, that's not what I want. And I'm like, why
I
not?
mean, let's be real, right? Would you rather, or same for you, would you rather have someone who just hops on the back of your bike or someone who can ride with you?
Me personally, I prefer
Yeah.
someone who can ride with me. I mean, I
Exactly.
know a
And
lot
like
of,
when you have that companionship, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, yo, I got somebody I'm like, yo, wake up, get your ass up, let's go riding. That's probably the best thing ever. Like,
yeah,
you know, instead
yeah.
of just going out riding by yourself and like creating this whole day, you got like, it's right there.
That's right.
That's true.
It's funny because I saw what is that meme about? Oh, it was something about lady riders or something. I don't remember. It was something about not. Gosh, it was about having. Why Women Ride or something, and it was, I don't know, right? Sorry, I lost it. I had
He
a
had a
thought I was
That's
clever.
all
gonna,
right.
I had a thought I was gonna share, and I lost it. But you know how
That's
that
all
goes.
right.
47, right?
He forgot 37.
That's all right, bro.
47 and some extracurriculars from
It
time.
ain't nothing but a number, dog, and you good.
True.
Well,
No, I
but
know. I 100% get it. I agree, and it's like what I have a best friend, right? And I met her when I was working at this bar back in LA a long time ago, and she got into motorcycles, and like it was dope to like one of my best. She moved and stuff. Who the fuck she's? I think she's in like North Carolina. She's like a nomad. She don't care. I love it. But it was dope, like to have a homie that I could crack a beer with. Something wrong with our bike. We gonna figure it out 8 in the morning, and by like 12 o'clock we're riding, and then we had this whole day, and then it's just like straight like companion, like homie stuff, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
That's you know what I mean, and it's like that's dope, and that's also hard to find.
It is.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not easy. That's not an easy thing to find. It's
I
not.
feel very lucky. I do. I feel very lucky. Oh, actually, I remember now that I said that. I remember the meme. So basically, it was there all these memes about how they're having to sneak around and sneak out and ask their wife if they can go ride. You know, like, wow, oh, I'm gonna go ride Saturday, and the wife says no, and it's like this meme about how you never get to ride because your wife doesn't want you to ride. I don't have that problem.
You probably got the problem like, hey, hurry up.
Yeah, I do. I do.
You got the hurry up problem like you taking too long. You fixing your hair.
35 and sunny today. Where's your helmet?
There,
Let's go.
there are days where I got shit to do around the house, and I'm like, man, I got to get this garage thing done or whatever. And she's like, don't you want to ride though?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hey, see?
yeah,
Guilty as charged
yeah.
with the shirking of the
See? Cheers to
responsibility.
that.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm definitely really looking forward to seeing you in Sturgis, and then obviously you've only been to Atlanta once. You got to come out. Is
I
that
have to.
you
Yeah.
got to?
This your scene.
I have to.
Yeah, you got to
I
come
really
out.
want
We got to
to.
go ride.
Yeah, I really want to. Man, and you know what? I like right now, my life, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah,
I'm I'm like involved in so much stuff. I'm traveling. Like, I don't know. I can get a call and be like, hey, come do this. And I would say yeah to it, you know?
yeah,
But I definitely want to do that for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. How did
That's the
Yellowstone
thing.
happen, by the way? Out of curiosity, how did you get hooked up with the Yellowstone thing? I meant to ask you that earlier.
Yo, so you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I'm gonna try to summarize this. I'm supposed to have a show in Vegas coming from LA, right? One of my good friends to this day, he's in a TV show. His name is Pete Sands. Pete Sands became really close with Taylor Sheridan, you know? So he's like, hey man, when we did this show, I go to Vegas, right? And the guy was like, what show are you talking about? I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
Some dude created this fake show, invited me to do this show, and it wasn't a show happening. Pete
Whoa.
Sands called me. He's like, hey man, we got the show in Salt Lake City. This is when I started coming to Salt Lake City. We got the show in Salt Lake City at State Room. That's on State Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's for like Yellowstone because they were doing the Sundance stuff at the same time. I'm like, all right, for sure. Now, he offered cash, right? And if it wasn't for this cash, I wouldn't be able to get back home because I'm broke as hell. You know, I'm trying to live this dream, right?
Yeah.
Pull up to this show, and Taylor Sheridan, him and his wife, Nicole,
Mm-hmm.
uh, they pull up, they pull him in the dressing room, and I'm like, damn, who the hell are you? You look so familiar, and I cannot put it on there. But the dude was like a real ass cowboy, strong as hell. I'm 6'1", right, about 220.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not little, and he fucking wrangled the hell out of me. He fucking manhunt. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo. But he's so nice, so genuine, right? And he's like, yo, I'm looking forward to like hearing your stuff. I listened to your music on the way here to State Room. Thank you. So we performed this song, and this is when I was doing stuff with this guy, Wild the Coyote or whatever. And so he's like, by the time we were done with our set, he goes, "What the fuck was that?" I'm like, I mean, it's like the music. He's like, "No, this is what I was looking for the whole time." Like, all right, whatever, dude.
Oh, wow.
I just drove to Vegas and I had a guy tell me we're doing a show, and now I got you telling me this is what you're looking for. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a complete shut off because you don't know, right? But in my head, I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. I'm listening to him and I'm being cool, but in my head, I'm like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I suggest you get a lawyer, blah blah blah, this and that. I'm like, lawyer from where, dude? Like, I'm from LA. I'm from the city. I'm an inner city kid. I don't know shit about lawyers. I don't know anything about the music industry. I don't know anything. I'm just doing music. I'm trying to find a way. I'm trying to make it, whatever. And I end up going to like one of my good friends' house that lives in Hollywood. And I'm looking through a magazine, flicking through the magazine, and then boom, his face is right there. And I'm like, holy shit, Taylor Sheridan. No fucking way. This is the same guy that's on fucking Sons of Anarchy. Right? I was like, he was a cop on Sons of Anarchy. Like, no way. So they're talking, he's like, yeah, I suggest you get a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Get a call from fucking Paramount, the guys who were doing the production and whatever for Yellowstone, like, we want to buy your music. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they're like, no, this is serious. Taylor Sheridan wants to buy your music. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I'm asking questions as far as like, okay, for what, right? They were like, we can't tell you at the time. Then eventually they tell us. When they tell us, it's like, oh, it's just for Yellowstone, right? There's no posters. We don't, I'm like, Yellowstone? I watch National Geographic, and I'm like, you're not about to put my foot to no buffaloes. You know what I mean? Like, like, I got a song called Johnny Cash or whatever, and a song called Oh Whatever. I don't. I was like, I don't see
Documentary?
how it
What are you
is.
doing?
But if you're gonna pay, whatever. Sure enough, I was working at a bar. It's on Wilshire. It's called Busby's East and Spare Tire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Paul is the owner of this place. They got another restaurant that's in Silver Lake. One of my homies named Thomas, him and his wife. Shout out to them because I was working for these guys at the same time, right? But anyway, there was this a billboard. It was a billboard, right? And the billboard, I see Yellowstone, but it was Kevin Costner on it. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is a different Yellowstone. This is gonna be fucking bigger than what I expected to be, right? This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So they end up, which is funny because it was the first season. So we get invited. I get invited to walk the red carpet, all this stuff. And my friend, his girlfriend, which all of a sudden now she's on the bold type. She's like a famous actor. Congratulations to her. She acted like she was our publicist. So we got this whole fake thing going on, walking the red carpet. I'm talking about Kevin Costner's right across from me. He's staring dead at me.
Oh.
Most terrifying man I've ever came across in my whole fucking life. And a couple other people, And I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, well, shit, I'm about to act like I belong here. So I'm about to walk the red carpet. Like, you could Google it. So now I'm like on there with my mom, right?
Yeah.
Because I told my mom, I was like, Mom, what are you doing on this day? Oh, nothing? Put on your fancy dress. I'm about to take you somewhere. She put on her dress. She was my date, you know what I mean? She was tripping. And I had to bring my mom because she loved The Bodyguard. So
Okay.
Kevin Costner's
Oh,
dude, you know what I mean, with Whitney Houston.
Yeah. For
That's
sure.
her dude. So she's sitting there like, oh my God, freaking out.
Yeah.
And which was cool because Taylor Sheridan did this whole speech and it was a premiere for Yellowstone, and he's like shouted out my name, like straight up. My mom got to hear it. It was one of the best experience ever.
that's awesome.
So the funny thing was this. My song Johnny Cash was supposed to be in the first season, one of the episodes when Rip was in a strip club or whatever, right? They ended up taking it out and putting PM Dawn on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of blasted it ahead of like, yo, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was texting me, yo, I didn't hear your music. But I was like, wait, what? You didn't hear it? It's in there. You just gotta listen to it. I'm lying. I'm lying, right? It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. But it's only
Like,
supposed to buy,
nah, you gotta
you know.
listen harder, man.
Yeah,
Wait,
you gotta listen hard. I was like, you know those lyrics that I said that. Like, I wrote that, right?
Right.
So I'm like faking the whole time.
how's it say
And
again?
I'm like, whatever, man. Like, just be like, I'm like growing up, you know, you always hear someone say what they want to do for you or this and that. And then you're discouraged because it doesn't happen, doesn't fall through.
Yeah.
And because I've like been through so much stuff as a kid, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep my head and I'm gonna fucking keep marching. It is what it is, right? But then we found out they're making a second season. So that like he bought out Spike TV or whatever it is, and that became Paramount. And Taylor Sheridan's running Paramount. So they're like, when we found out they were doing a second season, not only like when they took out that one song, he's like, no, I'm gonna buy 3 of their songs. Now I run this.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't have someone telling me what I can't do. Now I'm doing everything. He's like, and this is what I want on there. So he ended up buying that music, and you know what I mean, and buying 3 songs instead of just one. And that's kind of how that whole situation happened. And then all of a sudden I get another call because he's like, yo, I'm writing Mayor King sound. I'm gonna throw your music on there too.
Wow.
Like, I
You're getting
appreciate you.
chills.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
The sweetest dude ever. You know what I mean? It's like literally
Yeah.
the sweetest guy I've probably ever met in my life. And he's a man of his word. That's hard to come across. He sticks to his word. His word is his bond, for sure.
Yeah. You had people listening to ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
I have, by the way, no musical ability whatsoever. I want it so bad, but I don't have it.
You know
all.
what? Nowadays, anybody can do it, and you
You're
can.
right. You don't really need. There are some artists that actually don't really sing, but sound great. You know, it doesn't have to be this whole vocal.
Well, it's all in the engineer. The engineer is the one that makes an artist sound good. It's like, don't ever think like any artist is just like, yeah, I'm the shit, blah blah blah. It's like, yo, you better thank your engineer and your producer because you would not be nothing without them.
Yeah.
I'd be a beat poet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we don't want to, take up too much of your time.
Yeah, we kept you way long.
We definitely appreciate you coming on.
That's not way too long. I actually enjoyed myself.
Yeah, we did too.
We did too, man.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna have you back. Do you have anything coming out anytime soon? Do you want to plug your social media?
Yo, you know what? I'm actually working on a country album, a straight up country album, no rapping, straight country. I'm very nervous about it because I know how people are so like, they want to critique everything. But yeah, I am working on a straight up country album, no rap, not dark trap country, nothing, straight country, and hopefully by the end of the year I can get this out.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, let us know, man. I mean,
I will. I hit you guys up. I'll be the first to know. I mean, I'll see you guys Sturgis this year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to have my bike down there. Last year, my bike blew up, so I didn't have it.
Okay.
Oh, for real?
I blew the motor, bro. I had a 110, and I was running hot, you know what I'm saying?
We're actually building 2 new bikes right now, so
I'm pretty sure they got 131s and shit up in there.
131s, 550.
Yeah, I ain't messing with y'all.
No, but then they came out with the 135, and I'm like, Harley.
They did come out with the 135.
Yeah, bro. You're supposed to be on my side.
I just want something that can run, and I don't have to worry about it, you know?
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah.
Is it you go that big? In between, it could get sketchy.
I will say, if you want the least amount of problems out of your motorcycle, building a performance bagger is probably not the way to go because, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, it's you're always working on something. Always. I mean, you're always doing something.
You can get a bagger and just throw a cam in and call it a day.
You can. Absolutely, yeah.
Don't leave the heads alone. Leave the top end alone. Just throw a cam in there. Throw your exhaust in there. Tune it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yes. There are a lot of my friends are doing that and getting some great horsepower and torque, numbers out of just throwing a cam, throwing like a 475 in there.
117.
Yeah.
In the 117 or even the 1.
The 117s are good.
Yeah. They're strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
But you
That's
know,
what I
go
did.
big or
So I
go
went.
home,
yeah,
though.
you
You know what
know,
I mean, Dad?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's funny because the 135, it's probably going to be a couple of years before they start bringing out modifications for it and cams and all that. So the folks that are buying them right now are stuck with the 135. Like they're not going to be able to do the cam right away, do all this other stuff. There's still a while before
No,
it.
but you're gonna have a 135 and still be doing your
it
thing.
it'll be good. I mean, it'll be what 140 somewhere on there, 135, 140. But
Yeah.
you take a 131, drop a 550 cam in it, put a good exhaust on it, like a D&D or something like that. You could probably get
Yup.
150 or so out of that. I think that's what I
Yeah.
ran before. I ran.
Yup.
We'll see. These are probably the last performance baggers we do. We're probably gonna pull it back a little bit. It's
Really? What are you
been
gonna do
something else, man.
next?
I ain't gonna
The
So
lie.
bag. I actually want a naked bike again. We had the low
really?
rider
Why?
S's. Huh?
Why? I say you guys go chopper.
Yeah, or a chopper.
I
You know
like
what?
you
I
guys are killing.
actually
You guys are killing the bagger game. I
true.
honestly say you guys go chopper, like that Japanese style Harley Davidson chopper, and I think both of you guys will look great with that.
Oh, you
That's
got
just
some
hey, I'm
ideas.
That's a
adding my
good
two
idea.
cents in there.
Hell yeah.
I was hardcore looking at that Buell though. Have you seen it? The new
I,
Buell?
bro, Roland is my guy. I
Yeah,
love
Yeah.
Roland.
yeah.
I go to his shop. I love Roland, and I saw it. I was like, holy shit,
Right.
dude. I remember I had a friend who had a Buell in early, and I was like, ew, I would never hop on a Buell. And all of a sudden, like, I want one, and I'm like, fuck, this
Yeah.
dude has a Buell.
Have to eat my words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
170,
like, fuck. I want a Buell. Like, yeah,
175 horsepower, 21,000 dollars. I mean,
my thing is nice, man. And
it's
the frame
gorgeous.
already looks like an FXR and shit. It's
It does.
It's a
amazing.
gorgeous bike.
It really
All right,
is.
man.
They killed that.
Well, brother, listen, thank you so much for coming on the show. You got to come back. What's your social media?
It's BaddWolf with two D's, BADD_Wolf. Follow me on YouTube, Pandora, iTunes, Spotify. Just hit me up. You know what I mean? I need to follow. So,
Absolutely.
Well, we really, really appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much.
thank
Do
you.
you have anything you want to say before we close out?
No, I mean, it was great having you, Bad, and we can't wait to see you again. And thank you so much. And everybody, like and subscribe. And thanks for showing.
All right. Peace out,
Thank you
everybody.
guys. I
All right.
appreciate you guys so much. Hit me up whenever. I'm down to do the show.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
Appreciate